Every time Toyota drops a new RAV4, the whole SUV lineup's gotta pay attention, cause this thing always shakes up the game. The 2026 model? It's packing fresh looks, smarter tech, and it's lining up to square off against Honda, Mazda, Hyundai, and Subaru without blinking. Hello everyone, this is Scott from CarlandTV. It's time to hop in the front seat because today, it ain't just about showing off Toyota's new RAV. We're gonna line this sucker up against Honda, Mazda, Hyundai, and Subaru and see if it's still the top dog in the pack or if somebody else finally came to take its lunch. But first, do me a quick favor. Tap that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. It ain't required, but those clicks keep this thing rolling and make it easier for me to keep dropping solid car content straight to your screen. Now let's get back into it. 2026 Toyota RAV4. What's actually new? I haven't driven the 2026 RAV4 yet. Nobody outside Toyota has, but I've been digging through everything they've shown, and it's clear this thing's grown up. The last RAV4 always leaned a little too car-like for me, but this new one? It's chunkier, boxier, taller roofline, bigger glass area. It just looks more like a proper SUV now. Kinda gives off Forester vibes when you see the side profile. Toyota didn't blow up the dimensions, but they stretched the greenhouse and squared up the body so it feels tougher without being oversized. The old RAV4 cabin had smoother lines, almost sporty. This one's got bold cuts, a deeper dash shelf, and a console that finally puts stuff where you want it. Cup holders are right next to the shifter instead of buried by your arm. And depending on the trim, you get either a slick little electronic tab shifter or a chunky truck-style lever ripped straight out of the Tacoma. That tells me Toyota wanted this thing to feel more rugged, not just another soft crossover. And then there's the tech. They're not holding back. Every trim gets a 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster, a 10.9-inch center screen standard, and if you throw down more, you can get a monster 14.6-inch display, more USB-Cs, wireless charging, and Toyota Safety Sense 4.0 across the board. So, yeah, I haven't had seat time yet, but from what Toyota's showing, they're setting this RAV4 up to stay right at the front of the compact SUV pack. Engine and powertrain showdown. Alright, here's what's under the hood. Toyota went and did something bold for 2026. No more plain old gas RAV4. Every single one of these rigs is a hybrid now, whether you're snagging the base model or stretching out for the plug-in Prime. The regular hybrid's gonna hang around that 219 horsepower mark, while the Prime, that sucker's still pushing over 300 horses and gives you legit all-electric miles for your grocery runs or daily commute. Point is, Toyota's not chasing turbos or gimmicks. They're doubling down on the one thing they've always done better than anybody, hybrids that just flat out work. Now, stack that up against the rest of the pack. Honda's CR-V hybrid? Smooth but kinda weak sauce next to Toyota's Prime. Hyundai's Tucson offers both hybrid and plug-in flavors, but long-term its reliability record ain't in the same league. Mazda's CX-5 still leans on that turbo four-banger. Fun to drive, yeah, but you'll be stopping for gas a whole lot more often. The Subaru Forester, meanwhile, is solid, dependable, but that flat four is gutless and thirsty compared to what Toyota's giving you here. So yeah, Toyota kills it on efficiency and choice. Where they don't bother competing is the thrill factor. If you want snappy, sports car vibes, you're barking up the wrong tree. But for folks who just want a powertrain that'll save gas, save headaches, and outlast the competition, the RAV4's lineup is straight up tough to beat. Interior comfort and tech versus rivals. The inside of this new RAV4 feels like Toyota finally quit pretending it was a car and leaned into the SUV thing. They went chunkier on the dash, gave it deeper shelves for your stuff, and reworked the console so it actually makes sense now. No more cup holders buried by your elbow. You've got them lined up next to the shifter where they belong. Every trim gets a 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster, a 10.9-inch center screen standard, and if you want to brag, you can go up to a 14.6-inch unit that pretty much eats the dash. That's bigger than what Honda offers in the CR-V, and Mazda doesn't even play in that ballpark. Plus, Toyota threw in more USB-C ports and wireless charging pads, so everyone's phone stays alive on a road trip. About time. Stack that up against the rivals, and it gets interesting. Honda's CR-V is clean and simple, but it feels a little too sterile, like you're sitting in a waiting room. Hyundai's Tucson? Flashy as hell. Big screens, futuristic layout, but some of it is more gimmick than function. Mazda CX-5 has the nicest materials, no doubt, but that rotary dial infotainment feels like it belongs in an old BMW. Subaru Forester? Tons of glass, great visibility, but the tech feels like it's stuck 2 generations behind. Toyota lands in the middle where most buyers actually want to be. Not over-designed, not undercooked. You hop in, everything works, screens are big, and you don't need a tutorial just to figure it out. It's not luxury, but it's practical, and that's why these things keep selling. Reliability and ownership costs. Here's the thing. Toyota's not out here trying to prove reliability. They already own that crown. The RAV4 has been the SUV people buy when they just want to know it'll crank every morning. No drama. You see them everywhere with 150,000, 200,000 miles, still running like a weed eater that won't quit. And now that the whole lineup's hybrid for 2026, that's not a gamble for Toyota. They've been building hybrids longer than anybody, and folks know it. Prius drivers have been stacking crazy mileage on these things since the early 2002, so a RAV4 hybrid isn't exactly untested waters. Now, let's be fair. The competition's not junk. Honda's CR-V will run forever if you take care of it. No question. Subaru Forester is a tough little tank, especially if you live where it snows 9 months of the year. But Mazda? Once that turbo needs love, you're paying up. Hyundai Tucson's got that monster 10-year warranty, but a warranty's just a promise to fix it when it breaks. Toyota built its name on not breaking in the first place. Toyota also kills in resale, and it's especially true since we're talking about the RAV4. You can buy a RAV4 today, run it for 5 years, and still flip it for stupid good money. That's not happening with Tucson. It barely happens with a CR-V. Toyota just holds value, plain and simple. So when you're talking ownership costs, it's not even close. The RAV4 is the safe bet. Safety and driver assistance face off. When I get into a new SUV, one of the first things I mess with is the safety tech, because that's the stuff you're actually going to notice every single day. Toyota's loading up every 2026 RAV4 with Safety Sense 4.0, which means lane tracing, adaptive cruise, pedestrian detection, all that jazz, and it's standard, no nickel and diming you on trims just to get the good stuff. I like that, because nothing's worse than paying 30-something grand and still not getting blind spot monitoring. Now, compared to the competition, Toyota plays it steady. Honda's CR-V is right there with Toyota. They've got lane keeping and adaptive cruise dialed in too. Subaru's got eyesight, and if you've ever driven one, you know it's solid, especially in bad weather. Hyundai likes to brag about its tech, and yeah, the Tucson's got some cool tricks, like remote smart park, but half of that stuff ends up being gimmicky after the first month. Mazda? They keep it simple, but honestly, the CX-5 is showing its age in this department, and here's what I like. The RAV4 doesn't just hand you features, it makes them easy to use. You don't need to dig through 4 menus to figure out how to turn something on or off. The cameras are clear, the buttons make sense, and it doesn't feel like the car's fighting you while you're trying to drive. At the end of the day, Toyota's not reinventing the wheel here, but they are giving you tech that works every time, and that's what actually matters. Real-world driving experience. Nobody's actually gotten seat time in the 2026 RAV4 yet, because deliveries don't roll until late 2025. But based on what Toyota's laid out and the platform updates, I've got a pretty solid feel for how this thing is likely to drive. They didn't reinvent the core, and honestly, that's a good move. They've just tightened things up, made it sturdier, and kept it sensible. We're still rolling with that TNGA-UAK platform, now with tougher subframes and extra bracing to cut down on that road shudder and flex. This time it should feel quieter and more planted, even if you're not hammering it. And they launched those 3 trims: Core, Rugged for the Woodland, and Sport for the GRE R Sport. So if you go off-road, you're covered. No question. I'm betting the TRD off-road or woodland models will handle light trails solidly, while the Core models will stay comfy on pavement. Steering? Toyota's not chasing Mazda-like corner carving, but that's not why people buy RAV4 second. You get light, predictable steering that's easy around town, handy when you're juggling errands or kids or both. Ride quality? With the extra sound insulation and the higher rigidity, expect a smoother, hushed ride compared to the outgoing model. So yeah, I'm predicting it'll drive exactly like the new RAV4 needs to. Reliable and comfortable for the daily grind, ready for road trips, and not freaking complicated. That's the RAV4 playbook, and Toyota's sticking to it. Is the RAV4 still the king in 2026? Here's how I see it. Toyota didn't mess with what already works. They gave the RAV4 a tougher look, loaded it up with bigger screens, made hybrids standard, and left the rest of the formula alone. That's smart. People buy these because they want something dependable, efficient, and easy to live with, and the 2026 model keeps that going. Now, sure, the competition's got their highlights. The Mazda CX-5 is still the fun one to drive. Honda's CR-V rides smoother. Hyundai's Tucson is flashy with tech. And the Subaru Forester's the safe bet if you're fighting snow and mud every week. But here's the thing. The RAV4 covers more bases than any of them. Reliability, resale value, fuel savings, safety. It all stacks up. And that's why this SUV keeps showing up in everybody's driveway. So yeah, I'd still call it king. Not because it's the loudest or the flashiest, but because it's the one you can count on day in and day out. And that's exactly why Toyota keeps selling boatloads of them.